Hello, everyone. My name is Megan, and I am one of the account managers at Clean Energy Experts. I'm going to be briefing you on our lead manager system today, and should you like a personalized walkthrough, you can reach me using one of the contact points here you see listed on this page. The first one will take you to our corporate website, the second one is my direct line, and the third option is where you can schedule that personalized walkthrough using my calendar link. So for now, let's go ahead and jump right on over to the corporate website. Now, if you are a new user, you're going to head here to the right-hand side of the screen and click Sign Up. If you're a returning user, you'll just use the left-hand side of the screen where it says Client Login to fill in your credentials. Assuming you're a new user, go ahead and fill out all the information you see here. Hit I agree to the terms and conditions, and then sign up below. Once you've created a login for the system using the first link or during our walkthrough, you'll be able to gain access. The page you enter in on is our dashboard that's going to give you a summary of all of your active campaigns, your month-to-date spend. It'll be blank when you first log in, but there's a whole lot going on here once you've created your first campaign and you go live. Now, the easiest way for us to explore is to actually create a test campaign that you can activate later if it's of interest. During your personalized walkthrough, we can tailor this campaign to your liking, but for today, I'm going to use Florida as an example just because I love it. Now, to create a campaign, you're going to jump on over to the Campaigns tab on the left-hand side, or you can even click this little Campaigns button right here in the middle, and it'll take you there. Now, if you did not click that little button there in the middle and you're just here on the Campaigns tab, you're going to want to click the big green new plus sign button there at the top, and it'll open up what's called our control panel. You're going to have full control over everything from right here, so you don't have to wait for anybody to be available in order to make changes to your account, like turning on or off lead flow and making changes to your geography. Now, once you're on this page, you're going to tell us exactly where you want your leads to come from. So I like to personally name my campaigns by the area and exclusivity that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to make this one say Florida NX. And NX in my book just stands for non-exclusive, but you could have typed out non-exclusive. I could have also put Megan's favorite campaign. Below the name, we do have the status button, which is your on and off button for the system. Active means yes, I want leads, and pending means stop. We do have the option to sell commercial leads in addition to residential, but for today, we're going to stick with residential. And next is the exclusivity. So you can tell us whether or not you want to share this lead in our system. Now, non-exclusive leads, they have a 20 to 30% lead to appointment rate, and they can go out to a maximum of 4 companies at the exact same time. We are like an auction, so the lead's going to go to the top 4 bidders, but again, it's just a max of 4. So the lead could also get sold to only 1 or 2 users in the system if there are only 1 or 2 people seeking a lead of that kind in the area. When you win a non-exclusive lead, it will be emailed and texted to you, and it will be up to you to call the consumer and set the appointment or make a one-call close. The other 2 exclusivities, exclusive and warm transfer, are very similar in that they will only go to 1 person in our system. However, please note, they are not exclusive to the world. We cannot lock the consumer in the CEE basement and force them not to do more research or fill out other forms online. Nevertheless, we will only sell those leads to 1 person in our system. Exclusive leads get emailed and texted to you as well, and they have a 35 to 40% lead to appointment rate. Warm transfer leads, they have a 60 to 80% lead to appointment rate because in addition to the email and text, you will also get a live call with the consumer on the other end. So long as you answer, it's going to be a guaranteed phone call. However, if you don't panic. You're still going to get to keep the lead. It'll just be an exclusive lead that you actually have to call back. Now, as far as bid price goes, our minimum price in every single state is $15 with the exception of California where it is $25. The larger area you go after, the more likely you're going to be able to keep costs low. The closer you get to a city or a small territory you select, the more likely you're going to have a higher bid price. The kicker is that non-exclusive bidders are essentially ganging up on the exclusive and warm transfer bidders. So for example, if 4 non-exclusive bidders in Florida each have a $25 bid price, that lead would be worth $100 to the system, right? 4 times 25 is 100. So if an exclusive or warm transfer bidder wanted that lead all to themselves, they would have to pay at least $101 to win that lead over the group of NX bidders or non-exclusive bidders. I personally have a very low and slow approach to start, so I recommend that you start off closer to the minimum, and then that way, A, you won't get as high of a lead flow typically, so you'll have a really good chance to work these leads and see if they're a good fit for you or your team before you start spending $1 million a month with me. And then B, after a few days, I'll be able to pinpoint what the exact volume is in your area that you've selected, and then what bid price you would need to be at in order to achieve different volumes off of that. On average, exclusive leads are around $50 to $70 a bid, and warm transfers tend to be around $120. However, I know right now that if I choose to go full state in Florida today, I could easily grab some warm transfer leads for $37 a bid because I'd be finding little pocket areas with less competition. Since I am starting this campaign as a non-exclusive bidder, I'm going to set my non-exclusive bid price to $15. Bid price does equal volume though, so as I go, I may want to increase this just to get more leads of this type. Now next up, we do have geography. I'm going to set my state to Florida, and I'm going to continue with the full state for purposes of this demo. However, we do have partial state where you can set radius, counties, or even input a series of zip codes and get really, really specific. So here we go, grabbing Florida. If I said partial, you're going to see those counties, zip codes, radius, but I'm sticking with full state for today. As time goes on, I probably would even take my full state campaign and separate it by counties to set specific bid prices by area, especially if I want to get leads in one more area because my close rate is better there than another. Like maybe Miami-Dade County, I'm doing amazingly well, so I might pull that out of my full state campaign and give it a different, higher bid price to get more leads. Now, we also have the ability to map this campaign once we've saved to ensure we're happy with our territory and, if we want to do full state versus partial state. But we're going to circle back to that map feature after we've saved everything here so you can get a visual also. Now, the next up is going to be the filters tab, which correlates to the questions on our QC team has to ask every single lead before we sell it to you. We use the term QC, but that just stands for quality control. And we're going to sell you the lead immediately after our quality control call. So if we cannot get somebody on the phone, we will not sell the lead. Everything is happening in real time. Quality control is going to get a verbal confirmation on the consumer's electric bill and roof shade. The big players in our system generally keep all the filters and only eliminate certain zip codes, but to keep things interesting today, I'm going to start off without a lot of shade. Please note, we're getting a verbal confirmation on these two items. So we are not getting a hard copy of the bill or going out on site to get an analysis on their shading. We're assuming that the consumer is always right. Reason being is that we work with hundreds of different solar companies and every single one of them has a different sales pitch, a different product offering, and different desires. They can choose to work with different people that maybe you would not choose to work with, so we operate to the lowest common denominator. Now, the monthly electric bill and roof shading are self-reported. It's pretty typical for people on their initial test to deselect the 0 to 50 electric bill and a lot of shade for roof shade. But just to give you a heads up, homeowners a lot of time when they report 0 to 50, they don't actually have the right selection because who has a bill that cheap? I like to look at that as unknown. Now, quality control is also going to ask the consumer if they are in good standing and can afford solar. Now, we do not get a credit score because we do not get a social security number. No lead gen company today can get one because no one in their right mind would give their social to a lead gen company. I only did because I work here. Now, that being said, the electric bill and roof shading and credit score are not refundable reasons, but we do have a refund policy that we'll review here shortly, as we are one of the few companies that does allow returns. The last question QC asks is for TCPA compliance, one of the most important questions if you ask me. Now, that is the legal right to telemarket in the US. It's extremely important. It prevents you or us from ever getting sued. If you ever work with another lead gen company, please be sure they have this. By law, we have to ask once if the consumer wants to be contacted for solar, but we actually have what's called double opt-in, and we ask twice, plus we have them on recording for legal reasons and returns. And again, this is all happening right before we sell you the lead so we can ensure they still have some interest in solar. It is during this QC call that we know where the lead is going, and we even tell the consumer the name, or the names of the companies that will be reaching out. So any leads I win would be told, hey, somebody from Megan Solar will be contacting you. It's going to be whatever name you have in this top right-hand corner of the screen. Now the next tab is where you're going to add in your contact info so we know where we can deliver the lead. We can send you an email and a text or just one or the other, but we also have the ability to send it over to a CRM. Now you can add in as many emails and telephone numbers as you would like. I currently have a rep who has his mother down for his Spanish-speaking leads because she's fluent. So I just hope that he gives her some commission if she wins. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put my number down for today. But I could also do my email if I wanted. I actually do recommend doing both. You never know if you're going to throw your phone in the ocean or something like that. Now the last thing is going to be the additional notes tab, where you can specify a specific utility company you want to include or even exclude. You can also put a little schedule in place here, but we don't really need that at this time. So we're going to go ahead and just save this campaign. Here's my little review page. I like everything I see, so I'm hitting save. I'm going to close the dialog box in the top right-hand corner. And we're going to take a look at that map feature I mentioned. Now remember, my campaign is for a full state campaign. So if I did click on the map, which is this third button here on the right, it is going to light up the entire state of Florida in orange. I did also make a little backup campaign just to show you all Miami-Dade County. That's exactly what that looks like. And if I decide to start zooming in, you're going to start seeing some of those zip codes pop up. So you know exactly where you're going to be getting leads from. And if you don't like one of these areas, you can always have us exclude it for you. Now, if you ever need to go back into your campaign, all you have to do is click on the name of the campaign to make some changes. Or you can click on this little edit button over here on the far right. The last button is a clone button, and it's my personal favorite because if all I want to do is make a few adjustments to this campaign, I can do just that without having to type everything in again. So for example, I click the clone button. It does say clone, so I'm going to want to change the name here. I'm going to use X for exclusive. I'm going to change the exclusivity and then the bid price. And I'm just going to go ahead and put 30 for right now because I'm comfortable with that. Just always make sure that if you're going to have an exclusive and a warm transfer campaign going in the same area, which is not a bad idea, that you make sure that that warm transfer campaign is higher than your exclusive campaign. You will also need to put a number in place for the actual live phone call to go to. And then you'll just hit review changes and save.